Hi everybody, and welcome back. Today is just going to be a short dip nail tutorial just on the basics of how you apply and things like that. There is one crucial step that I missed in my short little video, and that is a dehydrator. I don't personally need a dehydrator because my skin is so dry and I don't have to worry about lifting, but one good dehydrator is Mia Secret Nail Prep. It's a really good dehydrator. You can get it on Amazon. It's really cheap. Or you can just do a 50-50 mix of alcohol and 100% acetone. Works the same way. And then you're going to need a base. I personally like Tony Lee's base. It's really good if you have oily skin. I buy it because my daughter needs it and it has helped her nails stay on longer. This is the base and top coat universal one. I don't use it as a top coat, I use a gel top coat. And then you're going to need something to activate the base and the powder, and I use Chiara Sky Silk Protect. You can use any brand, you don't have to use any of the brands that I use. And then I went in with Revel Nail Courtney, that's the dark color, and Isadora, which is a silver holographic, very pretty. And then you're going to need, you don't have to have any of this, but I prefer to use lint-free wipes. You can get them on Amazon. They're really cheap. You get a really big pack. You'll want to have some type of brush to brush off the powder. You can use a big kabuki brush like this, or just any brush that you have. You can get the cheap Kiss ones, or whichever brand, Wet n Wild, at Walmart. You're going to need some files, some buffers, any kind. I like to have cupcake liners, that way I can set my jar in them, and when I spill the powder I can just pour it back in the jar when I'm done. And then the most important thing is some type of toothpick, or you can use a dotting tool, just something that you're going to run around your cuticle area to give you a nice cuticle line. And that's about it. And I did use my e-file. I have this one. It's just something I got on Amazon. You don't have to have an e-file. You can also get a cheap e-file that will just help you with removal and with your cuticle area off Amazon. I started out with this one. It was like $15. It's not good, but it's not bad. And that's about all you're going to need, and I hope you enjoy the video, and thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like this video. I will be posting more in-depth videos, but this is just my first one, so hope you guys like it. So before you begin, you just want to cleanse your nail bed area. I like to use rubbing alcohol and a lint-free wipe. You can also just wash your hands with Dawn dish soap just to remove any oils or dirt. Now you're just going to want to gently push your cuticles back. You can also use a wooden cuticle pusher, whichever you prefer. For this next step, I'm going to be using my e-file with my cuticle bit, and I'm just going to be buffing around my cuticle area, trying to remove any of the invisible cuticle on the nail itself, and buffing the hangnails and the dead skin tissue and all of that. You do not need an e-file though, you can just use a file, just be gentle. Now it's time to start dipping. I'm using Revel Nail Isadora today and Courtney. We're going to start with Courtney. I will be using my non-dominant hand on my dominant hand. I like to take a cupcake liner and I put my jar in that to prevent spillage, and I can pour the powder that I spill out of the jar back into it. You're going to need some toothpicks, a brush, and your base. I like Tony Lee base, it just works for me. My nails are shorter now, so I do the steps a little different. When they're longer, I do an apex. So I'm going to go basically 3/4 of the way up and cover most of the nail. You just want to evenly put the base all over the nail. You don't want it too thick or anything like that. And you want to be kind of fast because it does dry fast. This is not something like gel polish where you have all the time in the world. So just make sure you cap the free edge, dip the nail in. You want to be really careful not to hit your nail on the bottom of the jar or the side of the jar. So whatever's more comfortable for you for dipping, you can even pour all the powder out into the cupcake liner and just lay your nail in it upside down flat, or you can even do the pour over method where you just pour the powder over your finger while your finger is over the cupcake liner, whichever way you prefer. And now I'm just going to repeat that first step. Now you want to dust off any powder on the bottom of your nails, the top of the nails. Some people like to take a harder brush and do this, but I don't. Now you're going to go almost to the cuticle. Not quite to it yet, but almost. Make sure you cover the whole nail in a thin, even layer. This is when you're going to need your toothpicks, because as soon as you come out, you're going to want to wipe around the cuticle area to make sure that you have a good clean line and make sure there's none on your skin or on the sidewalls. And there you go. You're just going to continue that step, like I said, almost all the way to the cuticle area. Once you've completed all your nails, you're going to dust them off real good, and now you'll be doing your last layer of color. You're going to go all the way up to the cuticle, but you're going to leave a hairline space in between your actual cuticle and the nail. Just be really careful not to touch the skin any. Dip it in, make sure it's covered good, and run your toothpick around the whole cuticle area. Now I'm going to take my clear dip powder, and on both my party nails I'm going to do one full layer of clear just to protect my nail from the glitter. Go around the cuticle line, and I just like to do this anytime I do glitter. And now you're going to clear coat all of your nails, your colored nails, with your clear dip powder. So you just run it over the whole nail, thin even layer, dip it in the clear, run your toothpick around your cuticle area, and you're going to repeat that step on all your nails. Now it's time to do my accent nails. I'm going to be using Isadora. She's a beautiful silver holographic glitter, and I'm going to do 2 full coats of her on both nails. The first coat I'll almost go up to the cuticle, and the second coat I'll go all the way up to the cuticle. And in between dips, of course, you're going to dust it off. And as soon as I'm done with both of those nails, I'm going to clear cap them in Rebel Nail Vivian. Now I'm going to go in with my Kiara Sky Silk Protect or Activate. You don't have to use this brand, this is just what I have. Make sure you put a generous layer over every nail, because this is what's going to harden up the glue and make the acrylic harden. Once your nails are good and dry, you're going to go in and start shaping it. You can use whatever files you want. I like to use a 180 and a 150. I just like to crisp up my lines and make sure I don't lose my shape during the dipping process. This next step, I'm going to be using my e-file with my diamond bit. I love this bit. This is what's going to seal my cuticle area and keep it from lifting. You can use a nail file, a glass file, or whatever you have, or even a buffer. You do not need an e-file. This is just what I like to use. It's what I prefer. Next, you're going to buff your nails and get all the lumps and bumps and get them real smooth. You can use a Polar Block or any buffer that you have or whatever you prefer. Just make sure you buff them smooth. And that's why it's important to do a clear cap over it with the clear dip powder. That way you protect the color from buffing. When you think you're done buffing, just check all the nails, make sure you didn't miss any lumps or bumps, and then you're going to get ready for your top coat. I'm going to be using a gel top coat, so I'm not going to smooth mine, but if you're going to be using dip liquids, then you're going to want to smooth them, activate one more time, wipe with a lint-free wipe, and then go in with your step 3, which is your top coat. So I'm going to be using my LED light, so I'm going to go in with my base coat first, making sure you cap the free edges. You do not have to use base coat. I prefer to do it because I found that when I don't use it, I get peeling, and when I use it, I do not. But just make sure you cap those free edges. You're going to stick that in an LED for 30 seconds or UV for 1 minute. Now I'm going to go in with my no wipe top coat. You can just start with this step if you prefer. Just make sure if you start with this step and you're not using a base coat to cap the free edge, and then you want to cure this for 1 minute on LED or 2 minutes on UV. Once they're cured, you're going to pull them out and put on some cuticle oil.